Google Chrome is very slow, right? Haven't you wished to create your own super fast browser? So that's today's video's topic. Create your own browser using Python and pyqt5. This is going to be a cool Python project as well as a nice pyqt5 tutorial. So let's get started. So guys, we are in our computer screen right now. The module we need at first is our pyqt5 module. So just install it by typing in your terminal pip install pyqt5. This is a very powerful application to develop GUIs. So let us talk about what we have here. I have made a folder browser and then I have 4 images: back.png, forward.png, home.png and reload.png. Check the description. I have given you a link, the code link actually. You can get the 4 images from there. And I have also made a browser.py here. This is the place where we are going to write our code. So pip pyqt5 is installed in our system. So right here from pyqt5 dot QWidgets. Now import asterisk means we are going to import everything from pyqt5 dot QWidgets. Now we are going to make a class. Okay, C will be small. Class main window. I'm naming the class as main window. Okay, so just write here main window and then main window, and then within the parenthesis write Q main window. Okay, and then give a colons and then enter. Don't leave this video by hearing the word class. We are going to do everything very easily and in great detail. So now we have made our class main window and we need to make a constructor. So constructor is nothing but a function. So just define here underscore underscore init underscore underscore and give parenthesis. And in the parenthesis you need to write self. Then give a colon and then write here super. Okay, super. And first thing we are going to write here is main window, then give a comma and then self, and then after the closing parenthesis give a dot and then underscore underscore init underscore underscore and give a parenthesis. Actually the super is going to add a super connection with our main window class. Okay, now we are going to maximize our browser. What do I mean by maximize? Let me just show you. When I click on this maximize button, it occupies the full screen. So this is what I mean by maximize. We are going to make the browser in full screen mode. So to do that, you need to write here self. Just write self dot show maximized. Show this one, show maximized, and give a parenthesis. Now our browser will come in full screen mode. For now we need to just see it, how does it look. So here we need to make our pyqt5 application. So just write here app equals to QApplication, give a parenthesis, and in this parenthesis we need to write sys.argv. For that you need to import sys. Don't worry, sys is a built-in module, you don't need to install it. After sys is imported in our project, just write here sys.argv. Okay, now we need to set the name of our application. So QApplication dot set application name. Set application name, and then in the parenthesis write your browser's name. I'm writing here Addis browser. You can write anything, my browser, anything. Okay, now just we have to make the main window object. So I'm writing here window equals to main window and give a parenthesis. Now we need to execute our app. So app.execute and and give a parenthesis. Now we can run our code. You can see this is a nice cool browser like thing here we got here. Now we will be adding thousands of details to it. So at first we need to display some web content here. We need to display our Google there. So for that we need QWebEngine view. To import it, to use it, we need QWebEngine widgets. And to use QWebEngine pytqt5.QWebEngine widgets, you need to install another thing, which is QWebEngine. Let us go to Google and just write here QWebEngine and then Python. Okay. PyQtWebEngine. Just click on this copy to clipboard icon. It will be copied. Now go to VS Code and then in your terminal, let me just remove this, and Ctrl+V here. It will be pasted. And then just hit on enter. Your PyQtWebEngine will be installed in literally a few seconds. After it gets installed, you need to type in your terminal from pyqt5 dot QWebEngine widgets. QWebEngine widgets. This third one. Okay. From here also we are going to import everything. So import asterisk. We are done. We have imported our QWebEngine widgets, and now we need to write here self.browser equals to QWebEngine view. And just write here a parenthesis. QWebEngine view is used to display some web content. We are going to display Google. So to display our Google, you need to write here self.browser dot set URL. I will be explaining what does the set URL mean. So before that, just write here set URL, and then we need our QURL. It has to be displayed in QURL. You can see here QURL. So to use QURL, you need another thing from pyqt5 dot qtcore. Just a second. pyqt5. Let me just type it again. pyqt5 dot qtcore. Sorry, qtcore. Import asterisk. Now you can use your QURL, and then write your http://google.com here. Okay, now our homepage is set to be google.com, and now we need to set our central widget. Before that, let me explain you what does this set URL mean. Set URL is used to load a website. We have loaded our google.com here. We will be setting our default browser URL as Google. Okay, so you need to set your central widget now. Right here self.browser. Okay, we are going to set our central widget as our self.browser. Now let us run our code. You can see it is now looking much more browser type, and this is a fully functional Google. This is not a design only. Let me just show you. I'm writing here India and then searching it. You can see you can go to any site like this. This is how you can use our browser. But but if you go to our old Google Bro, you can see here some buttons, okay, right? But we don't have our buttons in our browser. Let me just show you. We don't have a nav bar. What do I mean by nav bar? This bar is known as the navigation bar or status bar for each browser. So we are lacking this. So to make it, just you have to write here nav bar. We are going to create our nav bar. So just write nav bar equals to Q toolbar. Now what does this Q toolbar mean? Q toolbar widget is a movable panel consisting of text buttons with icons or other widgets. Okay. Now you need to type there self.add toolbar. Add toolbar. Actually, QMain window class method adds a new toolbar through this. So self.add toolbar navbar. So let me just explain you. Here you create your navbar, and here you tell to add toolbar navbar. Okay. Now let's just run it. 1 minute. Let me just close it. Yeah, you got a nice gray color thing like here, but there is nothing. Back button, there is nothing. So we are going to create our back button first. So just write here back btn back button. Now here we are going to write Q action. Well, now what does this Q action mean? Q action is useful to represent each command as an action. It represents each command as an action. Actions can be added to menus, toolbars, and will automatically keep them in sync. Okay. So in the parenthesis, you need to write at first back. Now write here self. Okay. Now we are going to add icon to it. So to add icon, you need Q icon. Okay. So from, just write here from pyqt5 dot qt/GUI import Q icon. Okay, we are importing Q icon. So write here Q icon. In the parenthesis, you need to write the image path or the image name. I'm writing here back.png. Now after that, you need to write back button dot triggered dot connect, and in the parenthesis you need to write self dot browser dot back. Okay. Now let me just explain you this part. Q action objects can emit a variety of signals. Okay. Now triggered connect connects a method with it when a triggered signal is emitted. This triggered signal is emitted every time when the user clicks a toolbar button or a menu option. In this case, when the user will click on the back button or the toolbar button, which is the back button, the triggered signal will be emitted, and this will connect a method. Trigger.connect will connect a method with it. Okay. Now we will add this action to our navbar with the help of add action method. So just write here navbar dot add action, and in the parenthesis write your button name, which is the back button. Let me just run my code. You can see we got a back button here. Let us see, does it work? Let me just back. Yeah, it is working very nice. Now we need our, let us see what is there. we need our forward button and then our reload button. So just copy these 3 lines and paste it. Okay, now make it forward button. This one will be forward.png, and just write here forward comma self. Now self.browser.forward, and this will be forward button. Now this will be also forward button. Okay, now let us check our forward button came or not. You can see a forward button also. Okay, so we have added a forward button. Now the turn is for our reload button. Likewise, similarly, just write there reload, change it to reload button. Now this will be reload.png. Now this will be our reload, and then self.browser.reload, and here also reload button, and here also reload button. Okay, let us check. Yeah, now our browser is looking very much cool. Let us see these 2 buttons work or not. Let me just back it. Yeah, back button is working. Now forward is also working. Let us check for our reload button. Let me go to a site. Let me just reload it. Yeah, it is getting reloaded. So our reload button, forward button and back button are working. Now the turn is for our home button. Let us go to our Google Chrome. You can't see home button because there are many tabs. There is no use for our home button. But if you carefully see, there are no tabs here. Okay, we will be creating tabs in our later videos or future videos. So for now we need a home button here to just navigate to our home button, a home page. So go to your VS Code, and I guess it is copied. Let me just paste it. Yeah, it is copied. Now change it to home button, and this will be home.png. This will be home. Now home button .trigger.connect, self.browser. Here you need not write self.browser because we are going to use a different method for it. We are going to make a method which is navigate home. So write here navigate home. Now till now this method has not been created. We are going to create it later. Home button. Okay, we have added all the buttons. Now self.url bar, the URL bar thing we are going to make now. Self.url bar equals to qline edit. Here we are going to use our qline edit. Here qline edit actually allows the user to enter and edit a single line of plain text with a useful collection of editing functions like cut, copy, paste, undo, redo, drag, drop, etc. Okay, this is the function of qline edit. Actually it gives a space for the user to edit the text. Okay, now write here self.url bar dot return pressed dot connect. Okay, sorry, dot connect. And here we are going to make another method which is navigate to URL. Self dot navigate to URL. like this. Okay, now hit on enter, and then we are going to add this widget to our navbar. So right here navbar.add widget, and in the parenthesis right here self.url bar. Okay, now you need to write that self.browser dot url changed dot connect, and in the parenthesis just write self.update url. This is another method we are going to create, update url. Okay, let me just explain you this part, return pressed. So what happens, I told you that Q action emits a variety of signals. Let me just tell you that Q line edit also emits a variety of signals. So when this return press signal is emitted, it connects a method with it. This is the function of this return press.connect, and this url change.connect also has the same function. It connects a method to it when this url changed signal is emitted. Okay, so let us make our first method now, which is navigate home. Okay, just right here define navigate home, and in the after the parenthesis right here colons, and then you need to type self.browser. After this you need to set URL. Okay, as I have told you earlier, set URL is used to load a website, and we are going to use QURL, this one, and in the parenthesis write http://google.com. Okay, now our navigate home function is ready. So when this, let me just take you to our home button. So when this home button, at first Q action will emit this triggered signal when the home button is pressed by the user. Now the triggered.connect, what it will do, it will connect this self.navigate home method with it, and it will come here self.navigate home. Okay, it will come here, and self.browser, it will set the URL to http://google.com, means it will redirect us to our home page. So our navigate home function method is ready. Now the next method is navigate to URL. Yeah, navigate to URL. Okay, and then you have to write make a variable URL equals to, just write your self.url bar and write there .text and give a parenthesis, and after that write here self.browser set URL, and here write QURL, and in the parenthesis write our variable which we made just now, which is URL. Okay, we have made this navigate to URL function also. Now the last function, which is this update URL. Okay, define update URL, and after the parenthesis and colons just write there self.url bar dot set text, and here write q dot to string. Okay, before that let me pass here the arguments self and q, and I forgot to pass the arguments here, so just write the self and here also self. So our update URL function is also ready. So let me just explain you what this set text does. This set text method is actually used to change the content of the label. Here we are setting the text to the URL bar. Okay, now let me just rerun our code. Navigate home. Main window object has no attribute. Navigate home. Sorry, I guess this will be because of the indentation, it is not taking it. Yeah, now it is perfectly fine. Let our Google to be loaded. It will just take a few seconds to load. What? ToString. Okay, another error. ToString. S will be capital, I guess. Yeah. Now it is fine. Yeah, our Google Chrome came finally. So let us just check our home button. Let me just type India and let us check our home button. Yeah, our home button is working very fine, and this is a Q line edit, so you can edit. Let me just type here youtube.com. It will not take you because you need to give it a proper URL. For example, I'm going to youtube.com. This URL you need to write there. Okay, this URL, and then hit on enter. It will take you to youtube.com. This is relatively faster than our old Google Chrome. So this is how it works. So let me just type here Addy's technical aid. Sorry, where am I typing? Addy's technical aid, and then it takes to my channel. This is my channel. Okay guys, so guys, if you haven't subscribed our channel yet, subscribe it now and like this video if you have really liked and if it is really useful. Okay guys, later on just let me just show you what we are going to do later on. Later on we are going to add these tabs. What do I mean by these tabs? I hope you know these. This is one tab and this is one tab. Okay, these are called tabs, but you can see our browser is lacking tabs. So we will be creating tabs in our later videos. That will be a modified version of this browser only. So to see that video, click on the video on the right, and my video on the left is the video which is the automating Google Meet using Python. So see any of them. So bye guys, meet you in the next video.